Now, Communications and Digitalization Minister designate Ursula Kuffour is justifying government's decision to shut down radio stations that had defaulted in the renewal of their licenses, including pro-opposition radio station Radio Gold. Taking a turn at the Appointments Committee yesterday, Mrs. Kuffour said more radio stations have now come forward to renew their authorizations on time. The closure of Radio Gold has been a controversial issue since the station, which has been critical of government, was shut down in 2019.
The enforcement action started in 2017.
The closures, I'm talking about the closures.
The enforcement action started in 2017.
But the closures were in 2019.
Not that I'm saying the exercise started in 2017. That's the report that I have.
Was there any radio station or stations closed prior to 2019?
Even outside this exercise, those stations that required to be closed down by the NCA, I believe, are closed down. So it's possible that some were closed down in 2019. I wouldn't know.
When the closure came, did you hear the public outcry about this radio station has been closed down and all the noise? You heard it?
I came to this house to report on it. Yes, I heard it.
And did you try to get NCA to tell you how they went about it?
I get regular reports from the NCA on this matter, since it's a matter of great public concern.
Did you find out from NCA whether they were taking the yearly regulatory fee from these radio stations without reminding them to get the authorization renewed?
The question again, please.
NCA was taking regulatory fee, yearly regulatory fees from these radio stations.
I don't know.
But you are the minister. You bring their fees and charges.
I don't get involved in the day-to-day activities of the agencies under my ministry. That's not my mandate. I supervise them on the policy. The board is responsible for the operations and management, the day-to-day operations and management, not the minister.
Okay, so you couldn't have known or asked them whether they've been taking the yearly fees from the radio stations? I didn't hear the answer. I didn't hear your answer.
What was the question?
That you didn't bother to find out from them whether they were taking the yearly fees from these radio stations.
I would assume that they would do their work according to law. And until there's an issue raised, there would have been no need for me to make any such inquiries.
Have you found out whether there have been any reminders to the radio stations about the renewal of the authorization by NCA?
The report that they submitted tells me that there is now improved regulatory compliance. They now have more visibility on who is due for what because of the exercise that they undertook. So it has improved their own regulatory oversight of the sector.
Also, MP and Minority Chief Whip confronted the nominee with evidence that the closures may have been implemented to target anti-government radio stations. But Mrs. Kuffour insisted government did right by law.
Media Foundation for West Africa, is that the name? Based its report on wrongful analysis of whatever information that they had. They were wrong, they drew their own conclusions to it, and they said whatever they wanted to say. I referred whatever communication I receive from any entity to the regulator to respond to, and I believe the regulator did so.
You mean that it is NCA that wrote to you telling you that Media Foundation for West Africa had based the analysis on wrong information, or your office did that?
If the court says that any entity without valid authorization ought to be sanctioned in accordance with the law. And the Media Foundation for West Africa claims that that is an infringement on the right of free expression. They have a problem with the decision of the court, not with the action of the regulator or the directives of the minister. And they also need to get their facts aligned with the situation on the ground. Every action that the NCA took was in accordance with the decision of the tribunal and their regulations. So that can, by no stretch of the imagination, be claimed as infringing upon the rights of any entity in this country. If that's the conclusion they arrived at, they were wrong.
Were your attention drawn to the fact that NCA was hiding information on their website? Was your attention drawn to the fact that NCA was hiding information on their website?
No.
Mr. Chairman, I want to take you to the same website page, but their 2020 second quarter, which is the only report that they have. So it will interest you to know that when Media Foundation for West Africa wrote this letter to the minister, they went back to their website and changed the format that they've been using. And the speaker, with your permission, you can look at on the screen. NCA went and changed the format from the one that shows the first authorization date and the last renewal authorization, and put up this to hide from the public the opportunity to see which radio stations have complied and which ones haven't complied.
If the NCA does anything wrong, under their law, is there no remedy? Under the law of NCA,
she is the supervising minister to the ministry. She is the supervising minister to the ministry. And the letters were written to her.
That NCA has hidden
yes.
data.
Yes, the Media Foundation wrote to her. And that's why I'm bringing it up.
Interestingly,
Mr. Speaker, before then, the West Media Foundation for West Africa downloaded the same 2020 report. Mr. Speaker, with your permission, I'll show that. Before they pulled out that one and brought the one without the details.